Hello, everyone. I'm Harrison.
And I'm Rachel.
This week, we're talking about spending time away from your kids. So stay tuned and join us on our journey to raise baby H.
I know of some people that absolutely refuse to be away from their children before they turn 1. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for Harrison and I, we knew before Edison was even born that we needed to actively make our marriage a priority if we were going to keep the romance going. And notice I didn't say keep the love going because I really think that that would always be there. But I don't want us to lose this newlywed, heart swelling feeling that I still get when I think about Harrison.
Around Valentine's Day, Rachel decided that we needed a day to ourselves to go on a date and, most importantly, be able to sleep in. We didn't travel anywhere or stay somewhere fancy. We just found some things in our city and stayed in our own house. So today we are sharing a little bit of what we did on our day away from Edison and how we made it happen.
So the first thing you have to decide on is what date you are going to go out. So obviously you need to find a day or two that works for you and your spouse, but you also need to find the same days that work for somebody else that is available to watch your children.
Thankfully, Rachel's parents are only a 2-hour drive away from here, and they are very eager to spend some extra time with Edison.
I think it's really funny that once you have kids, you have to ask your parents if you can go out again.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot. That growing up, you're always oh, hey, mom and dad, can I go do this thing? And once you have kids, you're basically confined to doing this or asking a random stranger whether you can go out until your kids leave the house or are old enough to stay home by themselves.
If you don't have anyone in mind, then you need to think of who do you want to babysit your children. For me, asking someone to babysit is one of the most uncomfortable things. I just worry about how long are you comfortable with having him? If we wanted to do an overnight thing, are you comfortable having him overnight? And there's just a lot of things that I worry about with.
We're very fortunate that we have family close by and that we know that our family can take care of Edison when we're away, and we're comfortable with that. There are a lot of people that aren't in that scenario, but for us, it's really great to know that we can ask my parents, Rachel's parents, or any of our siblings to watch Edison for a period of time and know that everything is going to be all right.
We haven't really got to the point of needing to pay anybody yet, but that's a whole other thing because I don't really want to assume that our family is just going to forever watch him for free. Our parents, yes, you will forever watch our kids for free. But siblings, if you're consistently, if you have a schedule of a sibling is watching your kids a certain number of days every single week, then you probably should be paying them a little bit for that.
So once you've found somebody to watch your kid, you need to figure out how long are you and your kid not going to be together. So how long do you need that babysitter for? And basically, what's the time period you're looking for?
We did about 24 hours. So this was a Saturday to Sunday. My parents came and picked him up around 10 a.m. And then we picked him up the next day in the afternoon.
Once you've figured out how long you're going to have just the two of us, you need to figure out what you want to do. And fortunately, this is one of Rachel's favorite activities.
So for some people, your dream might be to just chill at your house, take a nap, or get some errands done. But for us, we definitely wanted to go out, have a nice dinner, do an activity that was a little bit harder to do with children, like going to the movies or bowling, something like that.
Don't get us wrong, we definitely took a nap. And we definitely went to bed much earlier than we thought and slept in much later than we thought we were going to.
But there's just so many things that you can do. It doesn't have to be extravagant and it doesn't have to be expensive.
For us, just going to a movie theater is a treat because we don't really do that a whole lot, and it's not something you can do with Edison right now.
So once you've decided who's going to watch your kids and your day is all planned out, then you need to start packing for your children. So I way overpacked for Edison. He had a ton of spare outfits, extra diapers, extra formula. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't any scenario where my parents would need to run to the store or have to do a load of laundry just to make it through the night.
I would say most of the time when we pack Edison, we kind of err on the side of not bringing enough stuff. But in a scenario where somebody else is going to be watching your kid, we really don't want them to be in a scenario where they don't have what they need. So we'll put anything in there just so in that one instance where like, man, I really wish he had this one thing to chew on. You're like, well, it's in that bag.
And you have to think about where your kid is going to be watched at. So, like going to my parents' house, they already have a pack and play. They have like little bouncy seats and things that Edison can play with. They have nighttime books. So, we didn't have to pack any of that. And same thing, like if your kid is being watched in your house, then you don't even need to pack at all. But if they're going somewhere that they have no children, they have no baby items, then you're going to have to do a little bit more preparation.
Even if your baby is staying at your own home, you're probably going to want to write up like some instructions on where everything is, what's the bedtime routine, and all of that stuff. And we actually have talked about like putting together like a digital form of this to put on Edison's iPad that's kind of like a here's like a how to guide for our house.
So now it is the day of your date or weekend away, and you have to do the terrible goodbyes. And so Edison is at like a really clingy stage with us right now. Like he kind of cries if we just hand him off to people and he wasn't really expecting it, or if he hasn't seen someone in a while. So I think what really helped is that my parents got to our house and we just chilled for like an hour, and they held him for a little bit. Harrison and I held him for a little bit, and he just got warmed up to the situation.
I'm sure that Rachel's parents don't love that more often when they come and see him, he cries when we hand him over to them. But it's kind of cute to us that, he has this like attachment. I'm sure there'll become a time when we're kind of like, okay, like you gotta move on. But like right now, it's cute.
Yeah. And then you just enjoy your day. So, what we ended up doing is after my parents left with Edison, we got to sit down and read our devotionals together, which was just really nice. Like, I think we got ready at the same time. We were like brushing our teeth, and we're like, this hasn't happened in a while. Like, we haven't even just brushed our teeth together in a while.
It's really funny because like that just seems like the stupidest thing. Like, does it really matter that you brush your teeth at the same time? And it's like, no, it doesn't really matter. But just to know that both of us could get ready and you don't have to worry about like, well, what's going on with Edison? And, like, is he crying? Does he need a diaper change? Like, it's just nice to not have to think about it.
Yeah. And then we ended up going out for lunch. And then we came back and took a nap, of course.
We were supposed to go bowling when we went out for lunch. And then we got to this place and there was like a really long wait. And we are just like, I don't really know. We're kind of tired. So we just came back and took a nap, which was also pretty nice.
It worked out. Later that evening, I had scheduled a distillery tour for us, which it was one that we haven't been to. We have been to a distillery tour before, but we haven't been to this specific one. And so they do the tour and then you have a little tasting at the end. And that was really nice.
It was nice because Rachel and I do enjoy a drink every now and then. And that's not really an activity that is super kid friendly. And we've gone to distillery tours before and we like to go to wineries and things, but obviously we're not going to drag Edison to any of these things. So it's just kind of nice to go back and do an activity that we did pretty regularly before we had Edison.
And then we went to a nice dinner. And this dinner, we definitely splurged. We got drinks, we got an appetizer, we got entrees, and we considered dessert. But the food was just so good.
Yeah, we definitely could not have done dessert. I think that we just were too full, but it was like an environment that you definitely would not want to bring a kid to. And we really had a great time at dinner. And I think that we're looking forward to the next time that we can go there. But even though I think you probably could bring a baby, I mean, they had changing tables in the bathrooms. You always look, but I don't think it would be very fun to have Edison there.
Right. I think one of the things I liked the most about this night is that on the car ride home, we just had like a really good talk about just life and just our opinions about things we had been thinking about lately. And we don't really get a whole lot of time to just sit down and just talk. Like that was just so nice to do on the car ride home.
I think that anytime we sit down and can talk and we get like an opportunity to say more, that when Edison's around, you always have this like in the back of your mind, like at any moment, this conversation could get cut off because he's hungry or he needs something, and it's just nice to be able to have a conversation and just know like this conversation will last as long as we want it to.
And then we went to bed early and got to sleep in, which I am a girl that loves sleep. So that was definitely a nice way to end the date weekend for me.
We did both have a pretty funny experience because we were both up at 6:30, which is about the time that Edison usually wakes up for his first bottle every day. And when I woke up and saw what time it is, I was like, ah, you gotta be kidding me. But it's also kind of nice to know that like your body has adjusted to this schedule. It's something you do every day. And even though some days it's really awful to wake up at 6:30 and give Edison a bottle, it's still something that you enjoy doing. And like, even though all of these things, it sounds like we're just really happy to not have Edison with us, we still really missed him. And, we're happy that we have him. We're just nice that we could take a break and do some of the things we like to do without him.
Right. Definitely in the morning, we were missing him a lot. And my parents had sent us a picture getting him ready for church. And he just had like the cutest little smile. And that made us feel good that like he was okay. He was having a good time. But also we were like, oh, I want to go get him.
Once we got that picture and we knew that everything was going fine, we decided to delay our plans a little bit and we decided to get brunch before we went and picked him up, though.
Yeah. So Harrison was wanting Cracker Barrel, which, oh, so good. So we went there and had another really nice meal together and then went to go pick up Edison.
When we got to Rachel's parents' house and we saw Edison, we were just really excited to see him, and it was really cool to see how excited he was to see us.
He really recognizes us now, and I think he was starting to go down for a nap when we got there, but I just picked him up, and he just got this huge smile and was like kind of shaking his legs like he does when he's excited. And he stayed up for a little bit longer than he probably should have, but he was so happy to see us.
So overall, we hope that this has sparked some ideas for you, or maybe gives you the motivation to move forward with planning your own date time without your kids.
Having some quality time to just focus on each other and get well rested was just what we needed to bounce back into parenthood with eagerness.
Next time, we're going to talk about Edison's 6-month appointment and our updates throughout the month. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.